Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Fitness Podcast. I'm here with Blue, Michael Blue, but we call you Blue.
Blue.
Blue, absolutely.
No Michael.
Now, Michael, got you. Why is that? Why do you like Blue over Michael?
There were 7 Michaels on my block when I grew up.
Oh, really?
So
7 Michael. How big was your block?
it was like a circular block, yeah.
There were 7 Michaels.
7.
And it was like 7 Michaels that were like dads and brothers, or is it just like
Mostly kids?
Did they all get in? Did they all get in? Did the parents get together?
Some were Michaels, you know.
Got you. I love that. That's insane.
So I became Blue.
You became Blue. Got you. We are here with Blue. Blue is a Big Fitness member, and you've been here for a while, and you've seen awesome success, man. Just an amazing success story here at Big Fitness Incorporated. So I was like, man, we should have you on, but our conversations are always about like conscious awareness and understanding and like dealing with traumas and suffering, and we have all these philosophical conversations about like religion and like ideas about God. And we also have talked about things that are like aliens and AI. So we get into some crazy stuff. So I was like, dude, Blue, you should jump on the podcast and we should talk about it and just kind of go from there. But first and foremost, like you also have had a long story that has kind of brought you to this level. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about and have you kind of talk about a little bit. But then also like you also teach meditation classes and stuff to bring awareness to people, to bring the body, to bring people to their senses. And there's obviously a utility to bringing awareness to yourself and bringing awareness to like all of the blind spots in your life. And so I want to dive into that. But first and foremost, dude, introduce yourself and like, who are you? What are you? Why are you?
Alrighty. Blue. Yeah, that's me. And yeah, I lived like a million lives. I always say I'm on my 9th life. So yeah, I just have been through a lot on my journey to the present moment. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, let's go from the start, man.
Yeah. So I want to start when I started becoming aware. And that was, probably around 2000 when I really started sharing what I learned. I was living in New York City when I was right out of high school. I came from a little small farm town in the middle of California. So right after high school, I left and went to New York City by myself. And after about, 5 or 6 years being there, I hit a really dark spot. And during that time, I met my mentor, who was my voice teacher. And I studied with him for about 10 years. But when I first started with him is when I started coming out of this dark space that I was in, because he started teaching me about meditation and breathing and becoming aware and learning about myself, paying attention to self. So my life really changed and transformed when I met him. And as I studied with him and practiced with him, I just got better at my craft, and I've just been meditating ever since. And I started sharing it after that.
So this guy who you met, this mentor, was he he was a voice coach?
He was a voice coach, but he was already in his 70s when I met him. And he taught me more than just voice. I mean, his thing was breathing, right? Teaching about breathing was his main thing for using your voice. So he taught not just singers, but speakers, actors. His list of students is like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I mean, he's taught everybody. And he was, like I said, toward the end of his life when I met him, he was in his 70s. So I was with him until he died in his 80s.
So you were in a dark place. What was the dark place, and like how did you end up meeting this guy?
So I told you I moved to New York, and I was going to acting school. I met him so weird. I was taking voice lessons in my acting school. My voice teacher heard something in my voice that bothered her, so she wanted me to go see a doctor. So I went to see a voice specialist and found out that I had a tumor in my throat. So I immediately had surgery, had the tumor taken out. And once I got it taken out, they recommended that I have therapy with a voice teacher. So through the voice doctor, I got this teacher's name. And when I went to audition for him, I found out who he was and who he had taught. And he was kind of a legend.
Who has he taught?
Oh, everybody from the 60s and 70s and 80s, you know, anybody you can think of, like Paul Simon and Billy Idol, Liza Minnelli, Bette Midler. Yeah, like just a ton of people.
And you just
the list goes on and on.
And they were just like, hey, this is the guy you should go with?
So they gave me two names of voice therapists, and I called both and had an audition with him, and I ended up just gelling with him. I mean, it was immediate. I sang for him. We just bonded. He kind of took me under his wing and became like my mentor and my father figure while I was living in New York.
How did that kind of evolve? Were you just like at a session once and you just opened up to him and he was like, look, like this is something, how did that happen?
I was studying with him 3 times a week. So I was with him a lot. And he took an interest in me and we started hanging out together, and he started taking me to jazz shows and introducing me to people. And I started studying with a good friend of his, studying piano with her, trying to learn music theory and all that. But it was so funny because I was studying with these people that were so old. You know, I was in my 20s at the time. And he's 78 when I met him, and the lady that he introduced me to, Helen Hobbs Jordan, was in her 90s already, teaching me piano. But these people are legends. I mean, she taught Tony Bennett music.
Got you, dude. I feel like a dick because I don't know all these names, dude. I wish I knew like all these names, man. But like I feel it. I feel it out of you, man. So you met with these people, and this mentor helped you start to see awareness. What's the next step?
First of all, I want to say his name is David Soren Collier. And one thing that sticks in my head that he used to say to me over and over and over again was, do not have expectations. Drop all your expectations. Because if you could leave expectation behind, you're going to save yourself a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
If somebody does something great for you, if something happens, take it as a wonderful gift, you know, but never expect anything from anybody or from a situation, because you're setting yourself up for suffering, for loss.
Especially if it's like and there's no doubt, and especially if it's like it's an expectation that you have of somebody or something, and it's not clearly communicated up front, and it just becomes an assumed expectation. And I think this is where a lot of, like you said, suffering and pain comes from, is that you're sitting around coming up with all these stories about how somebody's not meeting your expectations, yet you've never communicated them to the person. So you're sitting there just kind of putting yourself in this painful spot, and you haven't even said anything. That is a lot of wisdom. And why do you think that's it? Why do you think that was such an important thing for him to say?
Because when I look back at my life, and even today, I struggle with it. It's the truth. I mean, when I look back at my life, and all of the heartbreak and the suffering and stuff was all due to, you know, holding these expectations, that were unrealistic.
Right.
You know?
And so this guy was like kind of giving you a way to navigate your life, moving on through like each step. So what was the next step? Like what got you into then, like you trying to teach everything that he taught you?
It was breathing. It sounds crazy, but literally deep breathing can change your life. I mean, that's what meditation really is, coming to yourself, deep breathing, feeling yourself. You know, as humans, we have to breathe to live, but we're very rarely aware of our self-breathing. Yeah. Unaware of taking deep, full breaths Most of us are just shallow breathing through life, So him teaching breathing and breath to me and speaking about it, speaking about what happens to your body when you breathe and how it can center you and keep you centered in yourself. And it resonated with me. And then he taught me to meditate.
This is probably the number one thing all people can do.
Everybody.
Like there's a book, literally, dude, there's a book called The Craving Mind. And basically it's like the neuroscience of meditation and how to actually curb cravings, and not curb cravings, but to like reassign a story to the feeling that comes as a craving. So when you have a craving, it's like, a lot of people think that you got to stop craving things. They're like, man, how do I stop eating this cookie? I can't stop eating these cookies. I just have these crazy cravings. And like, how do I get rid of it? Or how do I replace it? And it's like, you are never going to go through life. You are never going to go through life without having cravings. That's not a real life thing. It doesn't exist. Like you don't go through life without pain. You don't go through life without suffering. You don't go through life without cravings. You don't go through life without feeling hungry. So there's always this thing about satiety. How do I get full? How do I stay full? Eat your protein in the morning. Make sure you're eating your protein in the morning so you don't feel hungry. It's like, it's not about not feeling hungry. You're going to feel fucking hungry. Feeling hungry is a part of life. Like, it's okay to feel hungry, but you have no idea what it feels like to be hungry. You have a feeling, right? You have this feeling that comes on, right, but you don't really pay attention to it. It's this thing like the craving comes and you know that there's a feeling. It's like it's deep in your soul, man. And it's just like, it's deep in your bones, man. It's like, get it, go get it, walk over there and grab it, eat it. And you're like, yes, I'll do it. No, I don't want to, but I'm doing it anyways. And you just do it and you go on with your day. All right, I guess I'm just going to give into the craving. It's a craving. A craving is a thing. It's got a name now to it. Good to go. I don't need to dive any further into it. But when you like take a second to stop, you feel the craving come on. That tingling in the bones all the way to the fucking tips of your fingers, you feel it. And you take a second, you take a deep breath, slow everything down. Bring your mind to your senses, not the fucking paper you got due or the X, or Y, Z. And now you have something. Now you can be like, whoa, like the feeling of a craving is here or here. The feeling of a craving is here. It's in my arms. It's like in my legs. The feeling of it is in like my body somewhere. Like I'm taking a second to think about it. And you can be like, but it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. It's not like you need to go get this donut. It's a feeling in your body that's happening. It's a sensation that's happening. Maybe even an emotion. And if you can fucking bring yourself to your senses because using the practice of breathing, which I think breathing is just you slowing your mind, bringing your attention to your senses, and correct me where I'm wrong here. And this is basically why I have you on. But like, you can now like be like, this is not me needing a donut. This is me needing something, but this is not me needing a donut. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now you have a chance to like change it. But it's not get rid of it. It's not numb yourself to it. Hey, take this medication. You'll never have cravings. Hey, take Ozempic. You won't have any cravings. Hey, take this medication that kills your senses so you can't even feel yourself and you're numb as fuck. And you run around empty, staring at the fucking wall because you don't want to deal with the fucking feeling of a craving. Yeah. Meditation is the answer, folks. Awareness of what's happening to you throughout the day is the fucking answer. It is like the answer. Awareness is the answer. In a lot of cases, helping somebody, and I'll let you go because I'm on a rant. But dude, when people come to me, a lot of times it's all about that. It's like, how do I lose weight without feeling sore? How do I feel full all day and not have to deal with the feeling of feeling hungry? Like what can I eat? What are the replacements? How can I numb myself to these things? And, there's a million different things I could do that could get you to get rid of all of that, and it still doesn't help you. What really helps you is to bring awareness to those things. So I usually give people assignments to go do something, and that thing that they go do brings awareness to like where the actual problem is. I don't really tell them, because I don't really know what the problem is, particularly with each person. But if I can go have them go do something, and then in them doing it, they bring awareness to what may actually be the problem for them. When they come back to me, they say, I didn't realize this. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
And I didn't either, dude. But now we do, because you went and did this thing,
Yeah.
And that's why I think awareness is so unbelievably important.
It's everything. Yeah. I think
In a meditation, sorry.
Yeah, awareness is the way we change ourselves. The way we talk, in our sessions about flipping the switch. What is that magic thing that makes us be able to flip that switch? I don't really have the answer to that except awareness. Bringing awareness to it. The more awareness you bring to it, I think the more courage and the more power we have to flip that switch to make that change.
And you started teaching people.
I started teaching people because I believed so much in what it did for me. I felt how it transformed my life. Why shouldn't I share this with people? Why shouldn't I try to help people not to have to go through the shit that I went through, dude? I mean, the fucking shit I went through.
Right. You said you had, dude, 100%. You said you're on 9 lives. What were the first 8?
Oh my goodness. So many, but I'll focus on what happened to me in New York because it's the most fun to talk about, I think, but the most painful too. But I grew up in a place that was like a bubble, like this weird fucking bubble that doesn't exist anyplace else in the world. I think few people experience growing up the way I grew up, but it was isolating for me because I grew up in a huge family and I was so different than everybody else in my family, and I felt like shit in my whole town that I lived in. So I couldn't wait to get out of that town because there was so much pain there for me. You could talk about my 8 lives. Like, I feel like 3 of them were lived in that time period from being born until 18 years old. A lot happened to me there. So I couldn't wait to leave. So literally, I come from a town with 2,500 people. I packed a suitcase and got on a plane and went to New York. And I went by myself. And it was wonderful, and I got to experience, I got to be myself. I feel like I was born again there because I was free to be who I was. So make a long story short, I graduated from acting school. I had a career on Broadway, a short career. I started recording. I got this big high-profile manager, and things started happening. The problem is that I was very young, and I hadn't really done a lot to get to the point that I needed to be in that situation. So I was there trying to fulfill the obligations that I was supposed to fulfill in that situation, feeling like there was lots of heavy weight on me. It would take me 3 hours to describe the whole story to you, but the end result is that it all fell apart at the end. And what was dangled in front of me didn't come to pass. So in one instance, I lost kind of everything that I had worked so hard for. And it was really taken away from me and not at my own will, right? So I had to learn a huge lesson in that, but I was also not prepared in the moment to do that. I completely fell apart, went to this dark place, and and I let myself, go to that place, that dark place. I speak to you a lot about being in those dark places and what we can gain in those places. So I feel like this was now, my second time I went to a dark place like this, and I remembered what my teacher had taught me, and I started meditating in that place, and started, bringing all that back that he had taught me.
What can be gained? What can be gained in that dark place? I think everybody kind of knows what that dark place is. Like when you have like some extreme loss where you have no control and there is no fix, and the only thing is but a raw, very real, painful, dark space where like no one can relate and no one can help. A lot can be gained in that space. A lot of strength can be gained in that space, I think.
Yeah.
But what do you mean when you say that?
That's what I mean. It's like, I feel like for anybody that's trying to help others or trying to share their truth, anybody who's doing that, I feel has gone to those places. You've gone to those dark places. You've experienced that suffering and that pain. And in those places, when we are in those places of shift and turmoil, we can learn a lot about ourselves if we're aware, right? And it always comes back to awareness. It's about we can be in a dark place, but if we're aware, we can learn a lot about ourselves. You get what I'm saying?
100%. I think that's it's like all about like the only way to navigate down there, because it's kind of like life. I always just say life is just a wave and we're just riding it. And I feel like, you really gain. You find the tools and you find the strength to reach your next highest peak from your next lowest valley. So like in the valley, you find the strength to reach the next peak. And so unless you can be aware of how to navigate the valley, like you can get lost in the valley.
You're going to get lost in the valley. That's why I say it's about awareness,
Yeah.
That's where most people are lost in the valley.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Most people are running around lost there and they're stuck because that's what they know, right? So I keep thinking as we're talking, and so I'm just going to say this, but
Go ahead, yeah.
We're talking about suffering too, and when we're aware, fully aware, we can be aware that there is no happiness without suffering. There's no suffering without happiness, that they are intertwined. And so being fully aware and understanding that's kind of a simple truth, but it's really powerful when you understand it, and it can alleviate a lot of pain and suffering. When we recognize and really understand that happiness and suffering are intertwined. So that means that when we are in suffering, we have the power to experience happiness as well, because they're right there in the same place. They are the same thing. And we would really never know what joy is if we didn't suffer. We would never know suffering if we didn't know joy. So, my teacher was a big follower of Thich Nhat Hanh, which is a Buddhist monk, which I also have read most of his books because he's brilliant. But he speaks of this a lot over and over again because it's so simple. But it's such a truth that if we really digest it and understand it, it could really alleviate so much suffering that we have.
What was his name again?
Thich Nhat Hanh.
Thich Nhat Hanh. And Thich
Nhat Hanh, and he just passed away last year, and he was 92, I believe. But
and he speaks about not suffering to reach peace, but enjoy, but basically peace and joy within suffering.
Yeah, that suffering is something we carry with us. We're not going to get away from it. So
Yeah.
the idea that we do all this work to not suffer anymore is bullshit, because we're
Right.
human beings and we live in a world of suffering. So we're going to suffer. So it's how we deal with our suffering.
So it's like, this is so interesting because like David Goggins has this bit. Excuse me. You know who David Goggins is?
Yes.
So it's a Navy SEAL guy. He gets a lot of shit because he goes hard. He's doing like crazy shit, ultra marathon stuff, running like 100 miles a day. This dude's nuts. But like, yeah, I love him. Super inspiring. And he was on a podcast with, man, I can't remember the name of the guy who hosts that podcast, but it's the Modern Wisdom podcast. And basically, host goes, so Dave, like, is there ever peace for you? And Goggins looks at him and goes, man, there's a lot of peace in suffering. It's not, I'm doing this to reach peace. It's, I've got peace and I've got suffering. And these two are going to be there together. I've got immense peace and joy because I've got immense suffering.
Yep.
It's like, give me more of the suffering because that gives me more of the peace, and I can shift my mind to one or the other. But we don't experience life. We experience what we focus on. So give me all the fucking suffering you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me all the suffering you got because that's going to bring me all that peace, all that joy. Yeah, it's an
I
interesting
teach people
concept.
in meditation all the time. Is like, I think people think that they're going to come to meditation and they're just going to experience bliss and joy and happiness. And the truth is that meditation is experiencing yourself. So we're going to experience what's in us, right?
Oh, that's
and they're suffering in us. We're going to experience that. If do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's like so many people say, I can't do yoga because I can't sit down like that for that long. It's like, well, that's the idea.
Because I can't sit with my suffering is what they're saying.
Oh,
I
man.
can't sit with my suffering.
Or those folks that say like, you know, those fucking woo-woo son of bitches, like, I can't handle that shit, dude. I'm not going to do none of that shit. And it's like, you're running from it. You're running from it.
Dude, and people, those kind of people, you speak to them and it's like this negative force coming up against you. This wall comes up because, it really affects people because look, people are afraid of themselves. That's the truth. They're afraid to know themselves fully because there's pain there and there's suffering. And people just want to push that shit away.
I have this.
Put it in a box.
Dude, 100%. I said this one day. I said this one day and I can't remember. It was just like training and this just came up. And like the people around were like, oh shit, like it's another Jordanism. And I just kind of popped this up and I was like, you know, man, I was like, I think the most interesting person you'll ever meet is yourself.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Right? The most fascinating person.
The most fascinating.
I mean, pay attention to what's going on in your fucking mind, right?
Yeah, because like you think you know yourself. Look, you think you know yourself. I'm an adjunct professor out at Maryville University, dude, and with my students, and I just started my next semester here with this group of students. And the first thing I do is teach them what a vision is, a vision statement, a mission statement, and personal core values are, and how important they are to navigating your life. You know, because these guys are seniors and they need this class to graduate and move on. So I'm teaching the class and I'm running through this with them and I'm having them answer questions. And they're really personal, deep questions, and probably questions they've never sat down and answered before, unless they like sought that out themselves, you know, or like came across a mentor or somebody who was like, "Hey, this is important for you," which is possible. One of them had some form of experience with this, but the rest of them had no experience with this, and they answered these questions, you know, things like, "Hey, what are the characteristics of what is one word characteristics for the people that you most admire?" You know. Who do you most admire and what are their main characteristics and why are those characteristics admirable to you? And like answering those questions, it's deep. Well, I don't know. Why is it? Why do I resonate with somebody who's this or that or the other thing? Like you don't know. You know that you resonate for sure. It's like electricity. We know what electricity can do, but we don't really know what the fuck electricity is. No, like we don't know what that is. We're like, it's energy. It can't be created or destroyed.
Right.
Okay, beautiful. But it powers the light. And we know how to throw it at the light bulb and it's good to go, right? We figured that out, but we don't know what the fuck is. And so it's the same thing with yourself. Like you might know like what you are and how to use it. from time to time, unless you're having trouble with which is interesting. If you're having trouble with the donut, you having trouble with the donut?
Right.
I bet you're having fucking trouble with something. And you have no idea why. You
You'd
shouldn't
be able
do
to
it.
use yourself better if you knew yourself better. Right?
That's what I'm saying. The more we can understand electricity at the quantum level, the better we can use it. But what I'm saying, though, to illustrate the point, is just that, like, look, these kids had no idea. And then I had them answer these questions, and I said, hey, so like I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna like they think they're gonna like tell all the class their answers to these deep questions, right? And that was partly the point, I'm not going to have you do, tell the whole class all your personal shit. But I asked them these questions instead. I said, when you were answering these questions, and I would just pick on somebody, and I said, when you were answering these questions, were you afraid to write down what you thought because everyone would judge you? The answer was yes.
Yeah.
Did you change something? Did you erase something or write something else down because of fear or anxiety about it? Did you feel like you were unrealistic? Were you surprised with what you wrote down? All of these things are yes, 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 yes. So until you sit down with yourself and ask yourself these questions, it's extremely, that's extremely that's an extremely powerful thing to do. But like, you're right, you run away from yourself. Like, for example, for everybody listening right now, do this right now. If you're listening, I'm telling you right now, do this right now. Sit down with yourself, shut this fucking podcast off, sit down with yourself and say, what is the number one thing that's fucking me up, fucking my life up right now? And write it down on a piece of paper. Have the courage to write down the thing that's fucking you up. Take ownership of it. Are you addicted to something? Are you fucking whatever? Are you involved in a fucking abusive relationship that you feel like you can't get out of? Are you like what have you? What is fucking you up? What are you doing that is fucking you up right now? Write it down on a piece of paper so you can read it, show it to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how much you don't know yourself. That's how much you don't know yourself, and that's how much you're afraid of yourself, and you're embarrassed of yourself, and that's why you're running away from it. That is real.
Yeah.
But you're willfully blind, and you're running away from the awareness of like the way to get out of it. And courage isn't about being a void of fear. Again, courage is about being
awareness.
It's about being terrified and still doing.
Yeah, and having the courage to see the truth, right?
100%. When you start meditating with people, and when you start meditating with people, man, when you bring people in and you start meditating with them and you teach them about this, man, how do you prime them up?
So I was going to say,
how do you get somebody?
Yeah, I love what I love about what I do is that I get to sit with people in a very intimate way, right? How often do we sit with another human being and be able to talk about deep shit like that? So I love it because I get to sit down with them, and before we ever meditate, I talk to them about all the stuff we're talking about suffering and the pain and the happiness and all of that, and really dispelling all these weird things these notions we have about meditation that aren't true. So if you could dispel all this stuff before we even sit down to meditate, you can go to a deeper place when you meditate with these people because there's less fear blocking them, and there's more awareness of what we're going to do, So if I lay down a roadmap, they kind of know where we're going, they know what we're going to do, and they're a little bit freer to have a deeper experience. And I have to tell you that 90% of the time it works. I mean, they have experiences that they've never had before, and they may have tried meditating a lot of times and couldn't do it. Because I take away what everybody thinks, is so hard about meditating. Everyone thinks meditating is so hard. It's not really that hard. I mean, the hard part is getting yourself to sit down and be with yourself. That's the hard part. That's all. Once you're sitting with yourself, it's really not difficult. I mean, it's about breathing. It's about being aware of yourself breathing, aware of the breath moving through your body, aware of your heart beating, aware of yourself sitting on the floor. When we're aware of ourselves in those spaces and we can be aware of the breath moving through our body, we are in a state of enlightenment right there. And so people think that enlightenment comes from, years of meditating and you got to sit on top of a mountain with a guru or something. And it's really not true. The moment we sit down and we feel our breath moving through our body, we are in a state of enlightenment. And that state of enlightenment is what's going to make us aware of ourselves, right? Enlightenment's being aware.
Dude, what is enlightenment? Like enlightenment is like
Enlightenment.
it's like pure. It's like pure presence.
It's knowing yourself in the moment. It's what's happening right here in the present moment. You know, if you really think about it, life is really only happening right here as the seconds go. You know, not the next second, but the one we're in.
I wonder what AI thinks. I wonder what what the definition of enlightenment is from AI.
Yeah, let's check
see.
it out.
By the way, guys, I got AI here just in case we needed to ask AI questions. And so let's see, what is enlightenment? Enlightenment. What is enlightenment? What is enlightenment, and
I would
how
say
do you reach it?
you're in a place where you're completely opened to learn and grow and
good.
understand. Yeah.
Okay, check it out. This is what we got. Enlightenment can differ from meanings depending on the context, but broadly speaking, it often refers to a state of being understanding, a state of deep understanding, insight, spiritual awakening. Here are a few interpretations. Philosophical enlightenment. In the context of philosophy, the age of enlightenment in the 17th and 18th century emphasizes reason, science, individual rights. Philosophical alignment involves gaining knowledge, critical thinking, and the rational approach to understanding the world. Spiritual enlightenment. So this is more of what I think me and you are talking about. Yeah. There's a Buddhist interpretation here as well. Spiritual enlightenment. In a spiritual or religious context, enlightenment may refer to a profound inner transformation and awakening, the understanding of a person's self. Achieving spiritual enlightenment often involves a deep understanding of the nature of reality, self-realization, and a sense of unity with a higher power or the universe itself. Buddhist enlightenment, nirvana. In Buddhist enlightenment, it is a state of liberation from the cycle of birth and death, samsara. I don't know what that is. It is attainment of nirvana characterized by the cessation of suffering and the realization that the true nature of reality. Reaching enlightenment is subjective to a personal journey. Okay, this is where AI is weird and says weird shit. For disclaimer. All right.
Ask it about Christ consciousness.
All right, let's take a look.
Because I always, if I'm working with someone on a regular basis, I'll always bring up Christ consciousness and ask them to look into it. Because to me, that's just...
well, what is Christ consciousness what is Christ consciousness?
So it's termed Christ consciousness because it's laid out like the suffering that Jesus went through to reach enlightenment. To attain enlightenment, right? He had to go through so much suffering to attain that enlightenment, to get to that space where he overcame the world, right? It's knowing yourself. It's and being selfless. Christ consciousness, right? I mean,
there's a couple perspectives here as well from that, but it's 100% what you're saying.
Yeah, being connected to the divine, knowing being fully aware that we are connected to that power source that we have, which is our creative force, which is God, which is whatever we call it.
100%. So this is AI's definition of Christ consciousness. The term Christ consciousness is often used in spiritual or metaphysical contexts to describe a state of higher awareness, spiritual engagement, and connection with a universal or divine consciousness. It is not limited to any specific religious tradition and can be interpreted in various ways. Here are a few perspectives of the concept. We'll just go with the Christian one, but they're also, you know what? Let's go with the metaphysical perspective, because I feel like me and you, when we talk more about the metaphysical, because in my mind, it's like, what are we talking about? If you're a scientist and you're talking about energy, and I know, like religious people get weird about this. So what? Like, fuck you, I don't care. Like, just look. Like, I'm not.
Let's go with the metaphysical.
I'm not going against any of your beliefs. I'm just trying to say, like, look, we all have our way of thinking, and pretty much all is a religion if you start doing it together. So just relax. I get it. I want you to think that it's actually better to some degree to have a religion in my mind, because if you don't follow any religion, like you're going to follow like a religion. In my mind, it's just like, Just hopefully you're not following the one where like the guy is telling you cut your wiener off and like you know what or and just like throw it on kids for no reason. I don't know, whatever. Who knows? Or you kill your whole family because because God said so. Like hopefully I don't follow that guy.
Take some of this juice so you can jump on the starship.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. So like I think it's like find one of those old ones that seems to have been working. You know what I'm saying? But like in any case, and science is an old one. So like, look, if your science is your religion, good to go. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just find one of them. There's solid, like the 10 Commandments. Look, follow the 10 Commandments. Like, I'm not a religious person. Like, I don't like subscribe to any one religion. I actually just like to kind of just try to understand the principles of all of them, and they all pretty much kind of flow together.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
I mean, please,
But if you have a 10 Commandments, dude, if you have fucking 10 Commandments, think about it. If you have 10 Commandments, and like from I don't know which one does that come from? That's the Christian one.
Yeah.
So let's say you follow the 10 Commandments. It's like, thou shalt not fuck your neighbor's wife.
Good.
Okay, so it's like a pretty good thing to do there. All right.
Don't steal.
Don't steal.
Pretty
don't
good.
murder. These are all pretty sound. These are all pretty sound rules. Just it's like a coat of arms, and there's a utility to this coat of arms. Like if we all follow, and maybe coat of arms is the wrong word for it, but if we follow these 10 rules that are meant to like not hurt the person next to you, then we would all be doing a great job. Like, look, if I could go outside and not worry about somebody stealing my fucking car or like having sex with my wife or murdering me, then I think I'd be pretty well off. I would be like, look, true or not? Like, oh yeah, but that's a fucking fake story. It's like, look, he's just saying not to murder a dude. Can we just not murder?
Yeah,
that's all I'm asking. Is let's not murder. But like what I'm saying is there's a utility to the thing, and the problem is what seems like. And let me know what your thoughts are. And this is on another tangent. Now I'm gonna read this. But dude, if fucking think about it, man. Look, if a fucking flying fucking pig said not to murder a person, or a fucking dude by a burning bush fucking told you not to murder a person, let's just not murder a person, right? Let's just not do that. But I get it. It's like you have to believe to some degree that something divine, something not human, is the thing that said not to do it. Because otherwise you're just like, fuck you. And I get that. It's like, oh, don't murder this person, you say. Why? What makes you so fucking smart, Blue, to fucking come and tell me not to murder this person, right? And you put on a little coat. You put on a little cloak. And you're like, you just like, and you didn't one of them. And you're like, look, and you have like, you have like a thing that's smoking or whatever. And you're just like, because I talk to the divine. Listen to me. And it's like, I get it. All right. So you don't trust that fucking guy. And I don't blame you. He had a weird thing going. But I get it. So you don't want to trust that like some human knows better than you. And so like there's got to be stories, and the stories have to be from something that is more than a human. And I feel that. But there is a deep knowing. There is a deep conscious knowing. Like, you feel better when you give. You feel better when you love. You feel better when there's peace and joy when you indulge.
This is awareness.
That is awareness.
This is awareness. This is why it's so frustrating, right? Because most humans are just walking around sleepwalking. They're unaware, completely unaware, unwilling to even look. Look, and I know, these are people I know very well, a lot of these people, and it's frustrating as fuck. Because you could speak to them and you can speak to them, and some people, I don't know if it's that they have so much pain and suffering inside them that they just don't have the courage. I'm not sure what it is, but people just don't want to look at the truth. People would rather live in their misery and their suffering because they understand it and they know it. You know, they're comfortable with it. They understand it. I should take that back. They're comfortable with it.
Yeah, look.
And my thing is with meditation people is I'm like, you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable with yourself. And the more we sit with ourselves in meditation, the more comfortable we get being uncomfortable. It's what it is. It's like you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable with stuff bubbling up that's not comfortable, to deal with it. Otherwise, how are we ever going to progress? How are we ever going to reach the next step? Because you can't continually keep compartmentalizing and pushing shit down and not dealing with it, is my point. My point is awareness. You have to bring it all to the forefront.
Yeah, and when you say it out loud, it's going to make you. It's going to initially be a painful thing, and it's not going to. No one's going to be particularly happy about it, and so you're not going to be like. It's not going to be received well. The truth is never received well. So like, but what the truth does is expose more truth, and so when you expose the truth, that usually forces other truth to come out, and that truth coming at you is more pain. So it's like you have been holding something back willfully because you know that once you let it out, you're going to get real back. And real back is bad because you've been lying to yourself about what that thing is. And then you're afraid of what that thing really is. And so why not just be comfortable not actually knowing? Because lying, like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Not true. Not fucking true. Like in a lot of cases, in most cases. And here would be good. In what case is it better for you to lie to yourself about something, keep it in, and run away from it?
Never.
And once you become aware of something that you're willfully keeping down, like for example, guys, look, let's use this. Like, what substance are you holding back? What substance are you using right now? You're using some kind of substance. Like 93% of US adults or something like that are prescribed medication. So like you take something. You're taking something that brings dopamine to your body somehow. You're indulging in something and you're embarrassed about it. And you might not even really know that you're doing it, but you're doing it. And what is it? Think about it right now. And like, what would be the fear of, and maybe you try to hide it. You try to fucking hide it. Guaranteed, dude. I've been a trainer for 11 years, dude. People never have any problems until I get deep enough, until they start telling me exactly what it is that's causing them to not do the things that they're trying to do. And it's fucking deep. And it usually is about like, they don't want to tell me about it. They don't want to tell anybody about it. They don't want to tell themselves about it. And that's why they can't get better. They can't get better because they're embarrassed about these things or it's causing enough pain. So it's like, guys, think about it right now. If you're listening to this, think about it. Think about it right now. What is that thing that's fucking you up? Imagine, like, you tell somebody right now. You tell somebody that that's happening, that you're doing that stuff. You don't want to. You'd be embarrassed. You'd be like, oh, they would think I'm a fuck up. They would think I'm X, Y, or Z. So you don't do it. Or they would stop talking to me. And I like this person. And if they knew I did this, they would stop talking to me. They would stop hanging out with me or whatever. And I get a lot from this relationship. So why would I harm that? Okay, perfect. So now what are you doing? You're just living in this fake ass world, man. That's causing you so much fucking pain. And you are causing it. Not them. Not all these other people you have all these other fucking uncommunicated expectations with. You know what I'm saying? So like but you might not even, here's what we're saying. What we're saying is that you don't even know you are doing that. You don't know you're going into the bedroom and opening up this thing that no one knows about in your fucking, in your drawer and opening up the little bottle and taking it. You know, whatever that story is for you, whatever that story is for you, going into the basement when nobody's around and grabbing it real quick before you head to work, whatever the fuck that is for you, that thing, whatever's in the bottom drawer for you that you keep going to grab and not letting anybody know about, that's fucking killing you. And you might not know about it. You might be sleepwalking into that room, grabbing that thing out of the bottle, but you have it somewhere. You have it somewhere. It's causing you a lot of pain. That's what conscious awareness is. Become consciously aware of it. And then once you're aware and you don't do anything about it, that's called willful blindness.
Yep.
And willful blindness is you willfully not doing it because you know the consequence of truth.
And so many people are willing to live in that.
Yeah.
Which is sad to me. But we're here for the people who are willing, who are ready to change, right? And so we say
100%.
these things for the people who are on the precipice that are already starting to be aware too. They hear this and then they go further, right?
100%. 100 million %.
Yeah.
100.
I wish I could get, I wish I can get everybody to meditate with me, meditate by themselves. However, the truth is just the majority of the people just aren't going to do it. They're just not willing to do any kind of work at all on themselves. I want to say this really quick.
Dude, you go ahead. You got to tell me to fuck right off.
The natural human default is negative, fear. That's the natural human default. It takes no energy at all to be in that space of negativity and to be in the space of fear. It doesn't take any work. We could just, lounge in it. It's like mud. We can just wallow in it. It really doesn't take not an ounce of energy. But to choose positivity and to choose love, it takes work. It takes work to be aware and to work on yourself. It takes awareness. We have to continually want to know ourselves better,
What do you think it is that...
How the hell are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself?
100%.
This is RuPaul says that, right?
Oh, RuPaul says that?
That's what he says at the end of every show, and it's so simple and it's so true. How the fuck are you going to love somebody else and take care of somebody else if you can't even fucking do it for yourself?
100%.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, it was like this guy, I don't remember his name, but it was just an Instagram reel. It was Instagram wisdom, but it's like, it's not, I'll watch your back if you watch mine, or I'll take care of you if you take care of me. It's, I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me.
Yeah, right?
Because that's really what it is.
It's the truth. And so I think in our society, we're taught and brought up to think that self-care is selfish. Self-care, doing all this stuff. A lot of people still about guys who work out and stuff. Oh, they're vain. They're just whatever it is. There's always negative because people don't understand. But I forgot where I was going with that.
No, dude, you're 100% like, dude, you can be dead inside. You said that a few times to me, even if you got the fucking six pack.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And here's the gig. And here's why. Here's fucking why. It's because you spend all your time thinking that the external world makes the internal world better.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah. The external world makes and I've got something about this too after I explain this, but look, it's like that. Yeah. 100%. Look, you are caught up, and this is your substance abuse, by the way. This is your substance abuse. This is why you're taking fucking 300 milligrams of caffeine before your workout. This is why you can't get rid of the abusive relationship. This is why all of the stuff, this is why you work at the shit job you hate.
You're unhappy.
You don't leave. Why you're unhappy. Look, this is why, no matter, this is why you're all of these things you're using. This is why you're drinking alcohol on the weekends, like thinking that it's going to help you, and it's not. It just makes it worse. You take the pill and it helps for a second until it makes it worse. You get the fucking body. Maybe you get the body. You work your body out to help the internal mind until like you start hurting your fucking you're hurting your body, and it becomes worse. So again, even exercise can become bad and toxic for you if you think it's what's going to make the internal world better. Now here's the gig. The exercise is a form of meditation. And so just like anything, with awareness comes...
You can turn so much into meditation.
You can turn
awareness.
You can turn everything into meditation.
Anything you're focusing intently on, you can turn it into a meditation if you're aware.
This is exactly right. They say exercising out in the wilderness has the same physiological effects in the brain, or at least the same neurological effects to the brain that like sitting down with yourself and doing meditation is the same exact benefit. And the reason is because you're there, you're present, you're in the moment, you're right here. Like when you're working out, you got a heavy barbell above your fucking neck. You're right here in the moment.
Right in the moment.
That motherfucker. You better be really aware of that fucking metal heading down towards your neck.
I used to always say too that my mom had 5 kids, and she was in the laundry room ironing constantly. Like that's where you went when you needed to talk to her. But that's what saved her. That was her meditation, dude. When she was in there ironing, she was alone with herself, and she was able to, that was her meditation. That's how she survived. Dude. So I saw the power in just that from my mom, So we all have the power to let meditation get us to the next level. Let it help us reach our full potential. Let it help us be aware so we could be fucking great.
Yeah, dude.
So we could be great for the people that we show up for too.
It's 100%.
That's the thing is, we want to be great for ourselves, but when we're great for ourselves, we're fucking amazing for the people we show up for.
100%.
Too.
Dude, we should have read the definition of conscious awareness first.
We should have.
We should have done that. Sorry about that. Look, for all you fuckers who have no fucking clue what we're talking about for the last hour,
look up conscious awareness.
you fucking get some AI, dude. But in any case, let me read this. This is what this is what AI tells us conscious awareness is. The term conscious awareness refers to the state of being mentally aware, alert, and perspective of one's thoughts, feelings, sensations, and surroundings. It involves the ability to experience and process information, make decisions, and have a subjective sense of self. Conscious awareness is often considered a fundamental aspect of human cognition and is associated with the higher order mental functions, including self-reflection and introspection. It is complex and multifactored phenomenon that is central to the human experience and not fully understood.
So I think pretty much everybody that you speak to, anybody that you would speak to, would say that they have a conscience, right? They have a voice in their head or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? They have something that they hear speaking to them at times. Not psychotic, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
And to me,
I think everybody is psychotic, dude. to some degree.
As a meditation teacher, someone who's trying to teach people how to be aware, fuck, I just forgot the fuck I was saying.
No, dude, look. What the fuck
was I saying?
I don't know, dude. Like, look, that is the brain that we're all working with, bro. That's the fucking thing that people need to understand. Look, this is what we're trying to say. What we're trying to say is you think you got it.
You fucking don't.
You think you fucking got it, don't you? Fucking listening on the other side of this through your fucking headphones. You don't fucking got it. You're missing words, man. That's what's happening. Like, dude, there's a memory. There's a memory. It's like whiteboard memory. It's right in the background. Think about it. See if you can bring it back. And then I'm just going to say this because I think this is interesting. I'm terrible at this particular thing. There's the thing called whiteboard memory. There's an actual term for it, but I'm too stupid to know it. But basically what that whiteboard memory is, it's a short-term memory that you use in conversation. So like I say something, you think of something. And in that time, you're still listening to me. You're listening to me talk. And you're not going to like just, and I'm shit at this because I just like fucking interrupt somebody because I'm like, I won't forget.
That's me.
I'm like, wait a second. I'm going to fucking.
I'm never going to be able to hold on to this stuff.
Right. And so I'm like, oh shit, he's going for a long time. It's going to be going. This is good. And I just jump in there because my fucking, that whiteboard, there's a name for it. My whiteboard memory is fucking garbage. But like what's interesting is that it's gone. It's like at some point it's gone. It's totally fucking gone. And I'm like, oh man, that's a brain. A brain, you're like, I'm such a human and I'm so fucking good. I've got it so fucking good. And then, what's that word? It's my car. I'm missing my car. It was hard for you to remember that was fucking gone. It was a word that you use every fucking day in conversation. You don't even think about it, but for some reason, it's just gone. So the brain, you think you've got it until for some reason you're talking and in mid-sentence, you lose it. Guys,
you know why?
Guys, that's not just you. That's all of it.
I think it's not being in the present moment, like fully in the moment, because we're thinking about what I want to convey to you, and then you lose where you fucking are in the moment. That's the gut thing, guys. Meditation, awareness in the present moment.
No doubt.
Truth.
It's 100% truth, and dude, it's so powerful. And it's like a muscle. You have to practice it. You have to practice it and practice it and practice it. You got to sit with yourself, dude. Like I run for these ultra marathons. I'm doing 10 miles a day running. I'm running for an hour, 2 hours at a time, dude. Like I spend so much time with myself. I spend so much time being like, oh, it's this much time until this. It's that much time until this. Oh, I'm feeling my quads. I'm feeling my ankles. I'm feeling my back. I'm feeling this. I've got things going on in the future. trying to stay right here in the moment. No music. I don't want anything telling me how I should feel right now. I don't want to be motivated right now. I don't want anybody telling me any information. I want to be here with myself. And what I find so interesting is that the first 30 minutes still to this day, and look, I have a long way to go. Guys, by the way, all this being said, I'm not saying any of this stuff from a high horse. I suffer from all of this shit. I'm just like
and so do I.
Me and you are just fucking, you, Blue, we're all just as fucking derpy and dumb fuck as the next one.
But what we're doing is that we're trying to be aware.
Right.
And trying to work daily to be better.
And that's all you can do.
When you know better, fucking do better.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Dude, that should be on the back of the shirt.
Right?
That should be on the back of the shirt.
When you know better, fucking do better. That's Maya Angelou, by the way.
So like then if you know better and you don't. Oh, that's Michelangelo, you said?
Maya Angelou.
Angelou.
The poet. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But she was a thought leader and an amazing woman. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. In what era?
She just died maybe 5 years ago. She did the poem for when President Kennedy was, Clinton.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Hell yeah.
So,
well, look, and if you know better and you don't do better, is that not like, I remember having a conversation. Do you believe in good and evil? And if so, what is good and what is evil?
Me?
Yeah.
Fear and love. That's how I look at good and evil. Because I don't really believe in evil, because I told you I don't believe in that red man.
Oh, you don't believe in the red man?
I don't believe in the red man.
You used to believe in the red man?
I did used to. I think I don't know that I ever did, really. I think I was brainwashed. But I grew up being told about him,
Yeah.
To be scared of him and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really believe it. I believe, look, we are all born with good seeds and bad seeds. It's what we feed. Like I said, that we have the natural human default is negative and fear. If we feed that, that's what we're going to live in. If we want to live a better life and be moved by love, then we have to do work and move in that direction. That direction doesn't come free. It doesn't come easy. It takes work to fucking live that.
And when it comes to like evil, does evil exist? What would that be? What would that be considered?
Negative force. A negative force. So fear. I think that as human beings, we at every moment of our life, at any given moment, have a choice to move toward fear or to move toward love. And always moving towards love is going to take a higher consciousness and more awareness and work. Moving towards fear really doesn't take anything to be afraid. You could just be afraid, right? It's a natural thing that's just happening within us. I used to always say that we're born perfect, knowing everything. I do believe that. I do believe that we're born, the moment we're born, it's pure, and we are the purest. But I heard somebody say one time that we're born bad and we just keep getting worse unless we do work on ourselves. And I do believe that's true, because we are born with good seeds and bad seeds. And if we do no work, if we never try to be aware, we're just going to be feeding those bad seeds, the negativity and the fear. Oh my God, what do I do? All that stuff. It takes a lot of work to move toward the other direction. But
yeah, dude.
But we have at every moment, we also, with every breath, have the choice to move forward from our heart space, from love, from that.
Yeah, man. I have this thought. Because in the most agnostic sense, you could think there is no such thing as good and evil, right? There's just, for some reason, we're aware of what's going on, and there is really no good and evil, right or wrong. It might be your opinion not to kill somebody, but at the end of the day, you kill somebody and it's not a net gain or loss to the universe. That person was going to die anyways. That person was going to die, and everyone who ever knew them is going to die. And at the end of the day, the sun's going to burn the fucking planet, and no one's even going to know any of this ever happened. So it's like in the most in the most agnostic sense of things. And like you should, by the way, also, I don't believe you should think this way. There's one illusion I think is good. Find purpose. You know,
and you're not going to ever find your purpose unless you're aware.
Yeah, because
unless you find awareness.
Yeah,
right.
Simply the gift you've been given, the true gift you've been given, is that you're aware of anything that's happening whatsoever. That is an amazing gift. Who the fuck knows? We know. None of us do. The fact that me and you are sitting here, the fact that maybe you're listening to this on the other end of this thing, the fact that I somehow could put these fucking things together and I could fucking take a video and put it somewhere, who knows what the fuck that even is, and you fucking somehow found it, and now you're listening to me and Blue fucking ramble on a Sunday night about something no one understands. Look, that is your gift. That is an amazing gift. That is fucking amazing. There doesn't need to be a fucking purpose for it, okay? Just know that it is fucking amazing. Just be so fucking grateful that you even know you're suffering. You could be in the worst suffering ever. That's a gift. Your suffering is your gift. I don't know why it is. I just know that for sure it is. But in the most agnostic sense of things, I feel like there is no good and evil. But I can tell you something. This is something that I really think. If there is a hell, it is not warm. If there is a hell, it is cold. It is cold. It is dark. It is void of energy. Too much energy in fire.
I think we're creating our afterlife right while we're here.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't know. I mean, who fucking knows?
What do you mean?
Right?
What do you mean?
Well, how we live our life here, I think, is maybe a test rehearsal for the next.
You think so? I mean, look, maybe.
Yeah, look, dude. Because I believe in energy, and I believe that our main thing here on this earth is what you put out there comes back to you. We know this to be true, right? I mean, energy is energy. The fucking energy, karma's a bitch, because you put out bad shit. That bad shit's coming back to you in some way, shape, or form, right?
Right. This is exactly right. So, like, this is sort of what I think. So the reason why I say that if there, and I
hope there's something out, you know?
Right. No doubt. Like, it's for the same reason why I hope there's aliens. That's just a better way of living. You know, just to believe there's aliens and that they can talk to you, not like an amoeba somewhere in some fucking planet fucking light years away. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm talking about somebody who can eat a milkshake with me.
I'm just going to say that who the fuck do we think we are that we think we're in this vast universe on this little teeny blue planet, and there's all these people on it, and we think that we're the only people in this vast universe.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
That's like, you think there's just dead out there? I don't think so.
No fucking chance. Dude, no fucking chances. Dude, no fucking chance, man. All right. And look, if it's true that we're the only ones out here in this infinity, like, look, I'm not going to believe that. I don't give a shit. Like, dude, I'd rather lie to myself, dude. Okay. Simple as that. And like, because it's just a more fun way to live. That's why I said, if you're a complete agnostic person who's just like, I believe that consciousness is pure calculation in the brain, you know, at some super density. And I believe that, you know, all this can be fucking basically understood by math or whatever. Look, that's all I'm trying to say is that like, look, maybe you could lie to yourself about things that make you enjoy your conscious understanding or conscious awareness of your current situation. For example, yeah, we're all going to die. None of this matters, but that doesn't mean you should stay at home and be a complete fuck because you're aware of things. And because you're aware of things, go out there and put good energy out. And good energy is you're just putting energy out. Bad energy, let's say, is because I don't think there's such thing as bad energy. I just think your energies suck. So like you suck energy from people in the same way that the cold sucks energy from a hot drink. You know, like, so for example, what you should do is you should bring energy to people. Why does it make sense that like enthusiasm and high energy is so good? You come in here and you're high energy and you're happy, like let's say happy, but you're like high energy and you're enthusiastic. People start to attract to you and their energy comes to you. And now you're more energy and more energy and more energy and then you give them energy and they give people around them energy. And so energy creates this big giant flame. And all of this emphasis, all of these metaphors for like, hey, the spark, to set the fire. It's like, look, fire is mega energy. It's a lot of energy. It brings light. Fire brings it's so much energy. It brings fucking light. And heat. And fucking, that's why, dude, hell is not warm. Hell is void of energy. hell is cold. Hell.
Loneliness.
It's lonely. It's lonely. Yeah. When you're not around other people, you're not able to like give and receive their energy. Because if you give high energy, you receive high energy. If you go into a place and you suck energy from people, my life is so terrible, and I want to complain about it because my trauma and my suffering. Look. Everyone's going to be like, fuck that person. I just don't want to deal with you anymore because like, it's like, I feel for you, empathy, do it in that room. Do it in that room. I have enough of that. Do it in that room. And now you're losing energy because you're trying to suck people's energy. Now you have no energy and now you're alone and now you're in a dark room and now it's cold and now you're getting closer and closer and closer to hell. Hell doesn't have energy. Hell is not warm. Hell is cold. Hell is lonely. It's void of energy. So like if you're agnostic, if you're atheist and you're not like creating these stories that help you give energy, become more energy, receive more energy. This is why give and receive. If you give, you'll receive. It's all based on like energy at the very like root cause of it. It's like good is high energy. Bad is low energy.
Low.
And if you're somebody who is sucking energy, then you need to like find a way to stop that because you're going to fucking find yourself in hell, you know? And it gets worse and worse because you're like, okay, well, you get to the point where you're sucking so much energy, you just want to complain and you just want to talk about your pain and you just want to tell everybody that they should feel sorry for you. And you know what happens? You know what happens to you? Like people feel for you, they have empathy, good to go, and they want to give good energy, so they'll do it from afar. They're not going to bring you with them in their group.
No, I was going to say you're just going to attract more like energy,
and
because we it is all energy, and I think we have frequencies, and we match other people's energy frequencies. And so, you know, you ever have somebody call you, and you're like, "No fucking way! I was just thinking about you, dude." Or somebody texts you, and you're like, "Fucking just thinking about you." That's not coincidence. That's you are matching on the same energy vibration, and you're able to somehow communicate telepathically, and that's just the way it is. Because I don't believe in coincidences.
No,
I believe in energy.
I mean, we're really all just like dancing molecules.
And I think I think our dream life is real too. That's real. I believe it's real, our dream life, but it's happening on another level. Yeah. So you're vibrating on such a frequency that you're able to match those people's frequencies that you're dreaming with. Because sometimes you wake up from a dream and your heart is fucking racing and you just fucking ran or whatever you did in your dream, right? Scared out of your mind. It's real. Like your body is going through that shit, right?
Dude, I'm sorry. You just reminded me of something saying this. This is fucking hilarious. Yes, 100%. Guys, listen to this. I don't know. I can't remember the name of this comedian, but he had this joke. And he was like, isn't it kind of funny what a nightmare is? It's kind of you fucking with yourself. You're like sleeping. You're sleeping and you're like walking down the hallway of a dark thing. You're like, and you hear behind the door and you don't know what it is, but you are the one creating the story. So like, you know what's behind the door. Like you are creating the story that you are afraid of, and you don't know what's behind the door because you are saying, I'm not going to tell him what's behind the door. And the guy just goes, dude, you are not going to tell us. Like us. Not me. Us. We are the same. And you open the door. You're fucking afraid. And it's like, you made that story. It's like your dreams and nightmares are literally just you fucking with yourself. Anyways, long story short, they just reminded me of that. I was laughing forever because I was like, that is so fucking hilarious because it is so true.
Yeah.
What is a dream, dude? What is a dream when you're sleeping?
I don't know. I just said it. I think it's real. I think there's different realities happening at the same time.
And they kind of interject.
And we somehow are able to be up there for a little bit and experience it. I don't think it's fake because sometimes they're too fucking real.
Yeah, and
sometimes there are things that are real healing too. Like you might run into somebody, somebody might come into your dream you haven't seen that was dead for a long time or something. Who knows? Dude,
I see what you're saying. So it's almost like this is an interesting thought. It's almost like there are infinite universes, and each universe sits on a frequency, and your conscious awareness is your consciousness is basically just a dial, depending on like whatever frequency it will receive. And you're just like turning that knob and you're just moving up and down the frequency pattern. Like right now I'm like, like for example, like when it rains, it pours. And so like everything's going well for you until like you turn the knob down, and then you turn the knob down or whatever, I don't know, whatever, and you stop receiving the good energy, and you just start to like find yourself further and further into this one of the universes that are bad. The worse and worse the universe gets, right? And then like you find a way to turn the knob back up, or what, not up or down, just turn it around, and just like you're just receiving different, you're setting your consciousness on a different universe, but the universes all exist simultaneously almost.
They're happening at the same time. Right on top of us. And
I was thinking
that's what I feel like.
I was thinking about this the other day. People who live incredible, unrealistic lives are crazy dreamers. And this guy, another comedian, but this guy made a joke about basically like that he went into a room. It was who was it? I can't remember the comedian, but he goes into a room with a bunch of celebrities, and he's like in there, and he's in a room full of dreamers. And sometimes you feel like you're in somebody else's dream when you're kind of in a crowd and you see somebody up on a stage, and you feel like you're part of their dream. Like you're not. This is not your dream. This is definitely their dream. They're on the stage, and they're millions of people and whatever. But like when you're famous and you've been so successful, you're a big, giant, massive dreamer, and you're in this room, and he's in this room full of all of these big, massive dreamers, and in walks in Lil Nas X, and he's like stressed up like a fucking disco ball or whatever, dude, and he walks up to him or whatever and says some shit to him and just says like, I wanted you on my fucking video. And he's like, what video? He's like, what video? And he walks away, and he goes, that motherfucker's dreaming bigger than anybody else. And I thought that was a funny story. It's like, I'm definitely in his dream. Like I'm famous and fucking shit. That guy is out there just dreaming along. And it's like, how is this even real happening? This is a real human being in front of me. There's no one any bigger, any better than you. They're just dreaming way, way bigger. Think big, live better.
Belief.
They just believe this thing is so fucking real that it's just happening for them. And I thought about this, and I just thought this, what if it's something like this? It just will work. It will work. Okay? No, just before you start getting weird and egotistical and coming up with like you listener and Blue, not Blue, because I know Blue's gonna fucking resonate with this, but like you listener, fuck right off. Like you believe that you listen to this, you accept this. Okay?
Fuck you.
You accept this for a second, okay? This is gonna be good. So anyways, you fucking believe 100%. Just like you believe that you can bend over and tie your shoe right now. You believe you can have what you want in life. You believe it that much. Nobody can break that. If I put $100 down right now and I said, dude, I bet you can't tie your shoe, you'd be like, bitch, bet. And you fucking tie your shoe right now. That belief in yourself for this big, massive, giant thing, because as soon as you say, I'm gonna grow a business, that is gonna be globally recognized. Everyone around you is like, yeah, all right, fucking you're in the middle. You have this tiny ass little gym. Like 8 people. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's hard to say that. And so like you can't believe it. It's like you can't believe it, because how could you fucking believe something like that? So like in the back of your mind, it's like there's doubt. So you have to be fucking crazy. You have to accomplish Lil Nas X. You have to be fucking insane, and you have to like just believe it. And when you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna believe it so fucking much that like I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't fucking care. I'm gonna be this thing. I am this thing. I am this thing right fucking now. And the fucking knob just goes, fuck. The knob just goes, it's out of control. And the fucking knob just starts flying off the fucking hinges, and boom, you end up talking to fucking Madonna. And you're just like, bitch, fuck you. Give me a drink. Madonna's like, okay. She's fucking hammered. And you guys are fucking breaking shit. And you're like, how did this happen? You just don't even know. But you hear these stories from these people who are famous as fuck and who accomplish unbelievable shit. And they're like, dude, look, I'm just basically a lunatic. I'm mad. I teeter on this wave of like, is this even real? I don't know how this happened. I just believed in I don't get it. I just believed in myself so much. Everyone thought I was completely insane because I was. But the knob just got out of control. And no matter what, here I am. Here I am and I've done it. Here I am and I've done it. This is what I've experienced. And you listen to that story and you're like, yeah, fucking, I bet you that's bullshit. And then there you go, not believing. And then boom.
Doubt.
Yeah. You're right back at the Costco, fucking just getting the meat ready.
Doubt.
Lack of belief.
Doubt will fucking kill you.
And so look,
It'll kill your dream.
Now I'm going to take it one step further. We're sitting here talking shit and I'm like, listen to me, dude. I fucking believe this so much. I'm telling you this right now. This is how I think this would work. I think this is crazy because it's like, okay, so what if you fucking die? What if you die? Right? Like this would be that argument. You believe so much, it will just happen, right? So you go climb up that fucking building right there and you nosedive the floor. You're not going to die. It's like, I don't know if I'd believe that if I jumped off that fucking, that building right there, that I wouldn't die. I think I would believe I would die. So I would be in total doubt. So if I jumped off, it wouldn't be the same. Like if I was up there and I was in full belief that I would survive the nosedive, fucking 30, 40 feet, 50 feet, whatever it is to the fucking floor, and I would survive. And I went up there and I did it and I had full belief, which I wouldn't right now. I wouldn't believe that. And so like I would die, I think. I believe I would probably die. So I wouldn't do that. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to get extreme with your argument, then I will get extreme with mine. If I believed fully that like I will get up on that motherfucker and I would jump off there and I will survive, I would get up there, I would look at the floor, whatever, and I'm going to do this. And I would just fall and I would just do it and I would do it. And I would like, and like for you sitting here, you would watch me jump off that building and smash my head on the ground and die. And you'd be like, oh my God, he fucking jumped off the building and died. Oh. You'd be traumatized and totally fucked up. And you would be like, and like people would ask the stories and like the cops would come to you and they'd be like, did you do it? Did you tell him to do it? They'd listen to the podcast and they'd find that I was just a fucking nut job. But basically, what I'm saying though is that like for you, that would be what happens for you, right? But I was in full belief. I was in full belief that I would survive. So that's your reality, and you go on believing now. Like, hey, look, no, there's laws to this. There's laws that govern this land. There's laws that govern this perspective, this reality, this awareness. There's laws, and I am not playing with them. Because I just saw that happen. Fuck that, right? Okay, so now it's very difficult for you to believe anything. You might get into like a place where you can't believe a single damn thing anyone says because you're like, look, one time I believe this dude would jump off a fucking building and survive, and he didn't do it. He died. And I watched it with my own two fucking eyes, and you can't convince me now at all that anything is possible. Okay, so you remain in the world of reality. You live in reality, very realistic with you. There you go. Very hard for you to get out of that now because you've seen reality. Because you're so caught up about how real reality is. I jumped off. Now my universe. I go up there with a smile on my fucking face. I believe I'm not going to die. I don't even look down. I fucking just go up to the thing and I just fucking fall forward. Fall forward and fucking there's a thing that comes out and I hit that thing. It's like just one of those things, that awning things that goes over. I hit that and break through it and hit into a thing and fall over and hit a fucking car, whatever. Slows me down. I fall into a garbage can or something. I don't know, or a car. Something comes through and I stand up and I go, oh my fucking God.
I'm alive.
Oh, and you're just sitting there in fucking awe. You're like sitting there like, oh fuck, he did it. He fucking did it. He fucking survived. Oh my fucking God. And the whole world is like, this guy is fucking nuts. He did a podcast. He told everybody if he just believed he would fucking survive, he would. And he jumped off the building and fucking survived. And then like everything starts happening for you because you just took this fucking unbelievable jump and believed 100% into yourself that if you just believed that you would survive that fucking jump, that you would fucking make it out alive. And that is what makes you remarkable. And that is what happens for you. But in that other reality or that other universe, because what I'm telling you is that like in one universe, you did die. In one universe, you did die. In one universe, you did die. You didn't believe in yourself. It wasn't about believing in yourself or any of that stuff. It was there's just a universe that exists where like you did die, but your consciousness just shifts around these different frequencies, you know? And like this fucking, and like the frequency that it shot to was the most unrealistic one, but they all exist. Every possible outcome could exist. So this crazy outcome for you does exist. You've never seen it before because you don't tune your frequency to it.
Right.
You're too caught up being realistic. And so you don't allow your frequency. You don't ever turn the dial, but like that dial does exist for you. And that one made that, and then that one, now that reality that I shifted my consciousness to, I can't die. I can't die. Something happens. And then when I do die of old age, something else, it's like consciousness permeates something else. That conscious awareness will permeate something else. Like it doesn't go away. It's like a weird thing, right? I don't believe this, guys, by the way. I just told a story about like an idea that I was thinking about the other day.
Okay. You don't believe that?
Well, I mean, look, who's to say it doesn't exist?
It's like none of us fucking know, right? We're doing the best with the knowledge we're given, and our awareness
Right.
helps a fucking lot. Because you can gain so much with just being aware. This sounds woo-woo and shit, but that's what meditation is for me. It's like when you're sitting with yourself and you're aware in that moment, we are connected to, like, you don't have to be religious or anything. We all know that we were created by some force. We didn't just appear here out of nowhere, right? We're created by a force. We know that we're created by the same force because we're too alike to be different. We like have a nose and two eyes. You know, we're exactly the same, really. More alike than we are different. So we know all this shit, right? That we're all created by this fucking force of energy that's pretty remarkable. I mean, it created us, and here we are, and we're moving around, and we don't have to do anything to stay alive, really, except just do simple things like drink a little bit of water, eat a little bit of food. We don't have to do much. But when you're aware of the gift of being here and that your body's like a fucking machine, you know what I mean? It's
100%.
like a machine. We are walking around like these creatures, these amazing creatures with these fucking hearts that are beating and pushing blood through our body and making us breathe. And that's pretty phenomenal when you think about it, right?
I'm fascinated by it every day.
Yeah. So when we sit with ourselves in meditation, or however we meditate, when we commune with ourselves, we are communing with that. When we can recognize that, that's where our power comes. Really, that's where our strength and our belief and all of that shit. Those are where our dreams and our ideas and all that comes from that source. Like, you didn't dream up big fitness just like out of your head one night. That was like something that was in you, right? I mean, you felt it. It was inside, like it was part of you.
Yeah, it's not like absolutely, that's so interesting. It's like it evolves because I get to know myself more and more.
Yes,
and
right.
so I learn how to express it better.
Better.
What I find to be very exciting is that, like, I feel like more now than ever, I'm able to see and visualize it more. Like what big fitness is and what it means to me, as much as what it is and what it means for other people. But it's like you said, like when I started this, it was something totally different, and it evolves.
The more you're aware, the more you're in
aware.
tune with that driving force within you. There's a driving force. That's that creative force.
Do you think everybody has that?
I was just going to say, so...
Is this everybody has this?
So, yeah, everybody has the tools to do this, absolutely. But I think you got all these people that are get stuck in miserable jobs, and they're just doing their thing to survive because they're making money to pay their car payment and their house payment and stuff. They get wrapped up in this other reality that's not really what they're supposed to be doing, you know? And that's why I say about meditation, to me, spending time with yourself in however way you choose to do that in a meditation is the only way you're going to learn about who you are. And we're not going to reach our full potential and know our purpose in this life unless we know. How are we going to know that unless we know who we are? It comes back to the same thing. Like, you got to love your fucking self before you can love somebody else. You got to know yourself before you can know what you're supposed to be doing out there. You know, you got to know yourself. And sometimes it takes, you know, half your life or maybe most of your life. You know, we're not on a, you know, not everybody's figuring this out, you know, right when they get out of high school or whatever. This is life. And it's when you're, you know, exposed to somebody that helps you, you know, somebody that shares their truth with you, whatever it is. But we all have it, the power to do it. I believe it. I think we're all created with a purpose. We all have a purpose, the divine purpose to accomplish in this life. The sad thing is that probably 85% of the people will never reach their full potential because they won't do the work it takes to do it.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that, like, what we're talking about when we say know yourself, it's like it's as simple as coming up with your core values, knowing what your core values are. Because the thing is people say, well, I know what I value.
And know what your boundaries are, and know what your dreams are, and
exactly
know
right.
all of these things. You know, what's your worth?
It's the vision. And before you even have worth, what does worth mean to you?
Right.
Like, what is something that is worthy to you? What does worthy mean to you?
And success, because, you know, success to me could mean something totally different to you or to the guy down the street.
Have you ever asked yourself that before,
Yeah.
listener? Have you ever asked yourself that before? Have you ever said, hey, what does winning look like for me? Like, what? It's like you definitely want to drive the more expensive car. What exactly is that car? How much does it cost? What kind of job would you have to have? What kind of people have those cars? What are their values? Like, because for me, it's like, what do we mean when we say know yourself? And what we mean by that is, like, know what you value. Not know that you value things. Don't know that you value stuff.
I was going to say, because a lot of those people who are flying around in their private jets and driving their Lamborghinis, they don't know them fuck themselves at all.
Yeah.
At all. They somehow figured out how to do what they did without knowing themselves, and now they're fucking miserable with a fucking heap of money, dude.
Oh my God, that's such a great, dude, 100% great example.
And I could speak, you know, to that really clearly and from a real place of knowledge, because I grew up in that. You know, I watched all of my siblings and my parents. And
what'd you grow up in?
In that wealth what do you call it? In a bubble of unrealistic life of privilege.
So you grew up with a lot of money?
A lot.
Where'd the money come from?
My family.
Your family had a bunch of money?
Yeah.
And you had to navigate that?
I had to navigate that. And I tell you, people who've never had money or don't have money or think that people who have money, you know, if you have money, that's just going to solve all my problems. It'll solve everything, right? But it isn't the truth. Because it comes back to what we're talking about, knowledge of ourself, knowing ourselves. And if you don't know yourself, look, I watched my parents and my siblings and stuff all run around like fools and not knowing themselves and never willing to do any work to know themselves. It was like and look, I don't understand it fully either. It was like they were afraid to feel, afraid to be in the present moment, afraid to be human or something, you know?
Yeah.
They were running around immersed in the chaos of the world and not in the present moment. They were never choosing love. They were running in fear all the time. And so, although I was raised in an abundance of money and stuff, I really wasn't raised with an abundance of consciousness or tools, you know. to learn how to navigate that.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Money was it was a negative thing, negative vibration in my universe.
Maybe it just is a negative vibration in general.
Well, no, I was telling you about the book Happy Money. We can change the energy of money.
Yeah,
And money has energy, definite energy.
there's no doubt.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Actually,
So
you're 100% right. My question was shit. You're 100% right. There's no such thing as something that's bad.
we could change the energy of it.
Yeah.
It's just how we receive it, I think, and how we look at it.
It's back to awareness. Being aware of how you're currently looking at it and then navigating how you would like to look at it, you know?
Now, I don't think you can change the energy of money if you went out and shot a bunch of tellers at a bank and stole $1 million. That's fucking negative money.
This might be pretty negative money. There is such thing as,
you know what I'm saying?
There is such thing as toxic revenue. When you're willing to do something, when you're willing to do anything for money, it's called toxic revenue in my mind. Like you sell the wrong thing, or you don't even sell anything. You just act like you're selling something. You don't mind to fuck people over.
Right.
That's toxic revenue. That brings only bad to your life.
Only bad energy.
So you're 100% right. When you think that money, it's your perspective. Money means more than how I treat people.
So
that's.
And so in my family, and I don't think that's uncommon for other people too, don't have to be like super privileged or super wealthy to understand that money can be used in a really bad way. You know, money in my household was used as like a guilt and a way to keep ties and stuff like that. You know, it wasn't used in a positive way. I was never taught about money. I was only thrown money, you know, to as a way to control. And a guilt and shit like that.
That's not happening anymore?
No. This is long ago. I had to step out of it though. I fucking left it behind. Like literally gave my house back to my dad and said, I cannot do this anymore. I've got to go away. You know what I mean?
What was that transition like? Like what made you make the transition?
That was fucking hard, but I'll tell you, hopefully I can concise this really quick because it was super powerful. But I wrote an article called The Body Always Wins, because the body does always win. Like we can fucking push shit down. We can neglect ourselves. We can do all this bad, negative things to ourselves, but we're not going to get away with it for free because our body will respond to it, right? So I was living under all these pressures and shit and just trying to navigate my family and trying to navigate who I was, and I wasn't allowed to be who I was with my family because if I was who I really was, then they would have disowned me. And so I was always having to walk this line and lie and live two different lives, and literally made myself sick. You know, at one point I could not walk anymore. I was falling down and found out that I had an autoimmune disease, and it was affecting my nerves in my body. And I got to the point where I was walking with a cane and I was not able to drive anymore, and went through probably 8 months of doctors trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with me, and finally found out that I had an autoimmune disease that was affecting my nerves and my muscles. So I was having a nurse coming to my house 3 times a week administering blood infusions, and I was having blood infusions. And this went on for fucking 9 years. 9 years of my life I lived like this. And I started, believe it or not, I started exercising with this trainer, and I was doing 45 minutes on a treadmill before I would see him. And on that 45 minutes of the treadmill is when it started to fucking happen. I started spending a lot of time with myself and figuring out that this isn't truth. Something started speaking to me that this, you know, I have to start living my truth because this isn't truth. This is miserable and this is not getting me anywhere. Blah, blah, blah. I started feeling myself healing. I started feeling my nerves in my legs and shit. And I started hearing a voice telling me, you're stronger than this. This isn't your situation. you can heal yourself. And I wrote a whole article about this in one of my books, but I could literally remember looking at myself in the mirror and my eyes looking into my own eyes, and in that moment hearing a voice telling me that I was being healed, and that I was going to come out of this, and that I needed to step out in my own, right? And so, I went to Sedona, Arizona. I believe in all this shit. I went up to a vortex, and when I was on top of the mountain on this vortex, I fucking felt it. I felt
What fucking mountain were you in?
in Sedona, Arizona.
But what's the mountain? You went to a mountain.
I don't know that. So Sedona's a town that's surrounded by those amazing red rocks, and there's several vortexes in Sedona, and in these vortexes, there's a real magnetic thing. Like you could feel the rocks being magnetic to each other, and there's supposed to be a lot of energy in these areas. And when I went up there, I felt it, and I felt a shift happen. And when I was walking down, I told my friend, I literally feel like my whole body was healed. So we get home, and I made an appointment because I was with the neurology team at USC Medical Center in Los Angeles. That's who was taking care of me for the 9 years. So I made an appointment with a doctor, and I told the doctor what had happened. I started feeling all these feelings, and I said, and I can actually, like, my legs were kind of hurting, like I could feel my nerves, but I knew that it was almost like I could feel them re-energizing and coming back to life. So the doctor did a nerve conduction test on me in the hospital, and she came back and she said, I don't know how to explain any of this, but all of your tests show that your nerves are better than what they were before. That there is no sign that you ever had any damage or anything. So I think that's belief, dude. It's belief. I feel like we can make ourselves sick, but we can also heal ourselves. We have the power to heal ourselves. And I heard a voice. I believe that was my connection to the divine, the connection to my creator. And that voice told me, and I believed, and I acted on it.
Dude, fuck yeah.
And it's fucking came to fruition. I was completely healed. Like, dude, I was doing blood transfusions 3 times a week, and these were 6 hours. Like, she would come spend the night at my house, hook me up, I'd go to sleep, and they would do the whole thing. And that all stopped in a moment.
Dude,
and that's belief.
That's amazing. And you know what, man? The thing about that, the thing that like people will hear that and they will be like, no fucking way, fuck you, fuck right off. And here's what I have to say to you guys. Eat a dick.
Fuck you.
If you don't like eating a dick, some people like eating a dick. Okay.
I don't mind.
So if eating a dick is bad and you don't like it, eat one. If you No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But in any case, no. But like the thing about it is like, if you think that your mind cannot make a physiological change to your biochemistry, you're a fucking complete dipshit. And here's why. And I said dipshit, and I kind of fucked up. I'm a dipshit too. We're together in being a dipshits. Okay, but here's the gig. Like, if you believe that your mind cannot change your biochemistry and just the chemistry of your body in general, you're a dipshit. And the reason why is because that's anxiety. Anxiety is a perceived threat. Here, real quick, let's just, so that you folks actually believe me, because I know a lot of you folks don't believe me. 1 second. Let's see.
But you hear me with I loved how that
One-
circled. I love how that circled right back to belief where we started. Fuck it, I didn't even plan that.
No, right, and it's
but it's the truth.
It's 100%. It's 100% a truth. And no, check this out. Anxiety is a natural and common human experience characterized by feelings of worry, fear, and unease. Now, what is a feeling? Let's make sure we do this. But in any case, it's normal response to stress or potential threats. Sorry. It's a normal response to stress or potential perceived threats. Helpful individuals stay alert and focused in challenging situations. However, when anxiety becomes excessive, prolonged, or interferes with daily life, it may be considered an anxiety disorder. Key features of anxiety: physical symptoms. These can include increased heart rate. That's a physiological response to a perceived threat. Muscle tension, sweating, trembling, restlessness, fatigue, cognitive symptoms. We won't talk about that. Emotional symptoms. Those are basically behavioral. Anxiety can influence behavior, leading to avoidance of certain situations, activities, seeking. Look, based on your thoughts alone, if you believe the threat is real, let's say pressure, anxiety, that it can have physiological effects to your body. So why would it not go the other way? Why would you believing that something can fucking be good for you because a voice in your head said to do something that is good? Like, why would you not act on that? Why would you not believe that's possible? There are so many people out there who have their bodies. There's a guy, Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, our bodies tell us.
Yeah,
all the fucking time, right?
Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza is. I'll tell you right now. I'm sorry. I know I'm fucking this conversation up with fucking pulling this stuff up, but this is important because your story is fucking powerful, and people, the thing is that people discredit that shit. People blow that shit off, and people.
But
fucking,
I want to go a little bit further.
Go into
to
it.
submit it. We were speaking about I am. Do you know our words are fucking powerful, and we can create our reality by just the words we speak. That's how powerful we are. Our words, what we speak. So if you have a belief, you better be writing that bitch down. You better be talking about it. And when you do that, you bring it to reality. You can make shit a reality by writing it down and talking about it and believing in it. And the I am, okay, I just want to explain this to you really quick because it's powerful, because whatever we put after I am, we're just cementing into the universe what we are. And when we say, I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm scared, I'm fearful, we're fucking creating our universe, right? We're saying it out loud. We're telling the universe what we are. But when we say, I am powerful, I'm fucking strong, I'm a winner, we're creating that. We're making that truth.
100%.
When Moses went up to get those 10 fucking commandments and the bush was burning, he asked, who are you? What did the bush say? I am that I am. And then Jesus told us, I am, you are. I think Buddha might have said the same thing. What they're saying is I am is fucking powerful. And Jesus was saying, everything I am, I am too. You are. It's just about belief. I said I could fucking move that mountain. You can move the mountain too, just by saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fucking believe that you can move that mountain, you're going to move that mountain. I am is powerful. I'm a fucking winner. I'm a fucking star. I'm a fucking athlete. Whatever, it is. Training ourselves and what comes out of our mouth is important because we speak our reality as we're living our life. We're speaking our reality. So we can't go around saying, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to fucking get up. I am, whatever it is. You hear me?
That is perfect.
But no, it's like, you don't have to believe in Christianity or the Bible, but it's pretty powerful when you think of how they use that.
Yeah,
You know, I am that I am. Don't fucking ask. I am.
dude.
I am.
Dude, like, for all you folks who made it all the way to the end of this podcast, and you heard that bit, which I've been cutting that bit out. That's the bit I'm using. Because if you can just understand what the fuck Blue just said, if you could understand what Blue just said, you can win today. You can win right now. You don't have to wait until this many years to be winning. You can win right now because I am a winner.
I am a winner.
Fucking goddamn it. Thanks for coming on, Blue. God, we'll go there. We'll go both. We'll go both. Fuck yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on, man. That was a great time. That was a good time, man. Obviously, we don't have enough time to give these folks all the fucking gold that we, that we have, but for the slice that you gave us, dude, that was good fun, man. And thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's a pleasure, man. I love every time you come into the gym to train. We have these fucking conversations, dude. We go over this kind of stuff, dude. We're always pulling shit up from fucking, AI. We're always like researching shit to get some fucking information on stuff. We're talking about our experiences. We're trying to get real. You've seen so
Sharing
much
our
success.
truth.
Dude, we got into this conversation. We didn't even talk about all the fucking success you saw and getting fucking ripped up in the past 3 fucking months being here. Like, I mean, we didn't even get into. We just got into like the real as fuck shit right away. Just started talking about what all these other folks are fucking need to hear, but also what all these other folks are talking about and just not talking about in front of other folks. That's what this is all about, man. So I appreciate the fuck out of you. Thank you for coming on the podcast, dude. We're gonna have you on the podcast again sometime in the future. You know,
got
that.
more gold to dig up, man.
100%. Dude, it's endless with you, man. I love it. I love it. It's been a fucking pleasure, man. Do you have anything left? Do you have any one last words to say for folks back home? Where can they find you?
Get to know yourself. Meditate.
Oh yeah.
Breathe.
Hell yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. Everything,
Peace.
Dude, some shit we didn't cover that I do want to say this. You're an author. You have books that are published. I don't know if you can like buy them online or some shit.
Yeah, you can.
But if you can buy them online and stuff. Okay. So all of your books and everything,
Shifting Points by Michael Blue. Peace to the Cage Birds by Mr. Blue.
The one that you gave me?
Yes.
Absolutely. These will all I will put these all in the description of this podcast. So please go to those, follow Blue, listen to Blue, come get some meditation from Blue. Blue's the man. And dude, thanks again for coming on. This was so much fun. Beautiful.
Peace.
Man. Awesome. Peace, guys. And for you guys, please like, follow, subscribe, do all that shit you do for all your other fucking influencer fucking people you pay attention to, whatever. I'm not going to fucking talk about it. You know what you should do if you want to. And I would appreciate it.
Yes.
Any case, always remember, think big, live better. And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.